Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be starting Devlog 2 of my Metroidvania game. And yes, it's a Metroidvania game now, not a platformer. So as you can see, I started working on it, and I got halfway through the second devlog, and then I'm deciding I'm completely changing the idea of the game. So I'm keeping this project because I'm still going to use it on this project because of all the code. I don't want to just waste the code. But I'm just changing the sprites and stuff, and then I can move on making more parts of the game. So basically now I'm using the sprite from, if we minimize or X out of this project. If we X out of this project, we can go to my very first project that I made in Godot. Also this one would be the second one anyways. But yeah, so basically this one's my platformer game that I made not too long ago. And yeah, so this is the game that I'm basing it off of. So originally this was just going to be a small little platformer project, but I've decided I like the idea so much that I'm going to turn it into an actual game. How am I doing that? I don't know yet. But, so originally the idea of this project was for it to be a game where you're an elf and you're traveling through a forest trying to get the heart of the forest and return it. And that's what happens whenever you touch that. So I'm actually going to take that game and turn it into a Metroidvania game. Obviously this new Metroidvania game is going to be a lot bigger and have more things. And so what we need to do is first exit out of this project because we don't need that project no more, and open back up the virus control project, which I do need to rename. I wonder, can you rename them? Yes. So this one, I'm just gonna name it Metro for right now because it's gonna be the Metroidvania game, and we're clicking on it. So the scripts that I've made and the nodes that I'm using are going to stay the same. For right now, the only thing that's changing is going to be the player's textures and stuff, and all the textures really. So let's shift and delete all of these textures. So now we're going to open up the textures from the last game that I made. I think I have them downloaded. I should have them downloaded because when I downloaded the game. Okay, so here's all of our textures. And I'm going to click and select. So just control to click on the ones that I need to add. All right, so I'm clicking and I'm adding all of the textures. So now we have every last texture that was in the original game. Now, as you guys may know, as you guys can probably see, we still have these textures. There's one more thing I do need to do, is change the tile set from, hold on a moment. Alright, so we're just going to completely delete the tile map node and add a new one because we need to change everything. So we're going to add a layer, or extract tile map as an individual layer. We actually don't have a tile map yet, so let's just create a new tile set. New tile set, we will import the tile set. There we go. So now we have our tile set, and we can click on it on the tile map and extract them as an individual layer. There we go. So now we can place things. You'll notice that it's very small right now. If we just load it, they're very small. So we're going to transform it to be 4 because that's how it would be. The scale, transforming the scale. Where did they go? They went to the bottom. Okay, so we can actually delete them. And then one final thing that we need to do is create or let's see what happens if we just have it on 3. How's 3? Is 3 too big or too small? Let's see, let's load it. Nope, 3 is perfect. We can have it on 3. Okay, so we need to go back to the tile set, and we need to create a new physics layer. And there we go. So now we should be able to go to tile set. All right, so now we have the physics. So now we need to create a texture for the player, or not create a texture. We need to edit the texture. There we go. So now we have a sprite 2D node, and we can add the texture to it. So that should be good. There we go. And we can texture nearest. There we go. So now we have our player texture. We do need to go to this player's script and change some things because we no longer have animations. So we need to remove those animations. There we go. There's 1 animation removed and 2 animations removed. So now we should be able to just, yeah, there we go. Much better. All right. And one last thing that we need to do because it's really bothering me is delete the background. Okay. So now we should have our game somewhat. We did need to change the scale of it to probably like 3, if I'm being honest. 3 is probably good. Sorry, why didn't it work? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there we go, 3. So we have 3 as our scale now. So now we can just create a level. Well, and what I mean by level is, okay, what's wrong with it? What's the debugs? Load data. We should just be good right now, right? Okay, so now I need to create a level. And by level, I just mean ground and area. That way we can build, or not build, but test out what we currently have. All right, so now we have a level that we can test out with for right now. There we go, we're good. So now what I need to do is go in and create a texture for the enemy that matches our original texture. A texture for the enemy that would make sense in the forest. So I'm going to quickly go make a texture for that. All right, guys, so now we have a proper shooting implemented. You do have a cooldown, and it's shooting arrows because that's what elves usually have, the bow and arrow. So yeah, so now I need to get working on a enemy. Obviously, we already have the enemy scene in the scenes folder. So if I open that, you can see that we have a scene. It just doesn't have a sprite, which we need to work on. All right, so this is my final product. I really like it. I did use a custom palette, but I added the pink, and I'm really proud of this. So now we can go put it in to our enemy 1. I'm actually renaming this to Goblin, and let's rename this to also Goblin. Okay, so inspector texture. There we go. You actually have to open the texture and place it into this. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we can add our goblin scene and bang. We probably should upgrade the scale a little bit. What's the scale of the player? 3. So I'll probably do the same thing for the goblin. Let's see if it works. There we go. We have our goblin. And if we touch it, we die. But now we want the scene to hide if it touched. Now we want the goblin to hide if he touches the bullet, right? And that's a really easy thing to do. In our goblin script, we can make it, actually not in the goblin script, in the Killzone script, we can make on body entered. We can also hide the player. I think hides is on function. Yeah, not the player, the goblin. And it will no longer detect if it touches. So let's see here. We need it to be on the same layer. Player. What layer is the player on? It's on layer 2. So the arrow also needs to be on layer 2. And I'm not quite sure, but I think this might kill automatically. No, it won't. Wait, why isn't it? Let me do some debugging. All right, so I fixed it. So now if we go over to here and shoot it, it's gone. But why did it just kill me? So it's still technically there, but it's just hidden. Can we make it hide the kill zone as well? It does hide it. All right, so I fixed it. The enemy should completely work now. So if I walk to where it would be, it doesn't restart the scene. All right, guys, so I think that's going to be the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one, which will be a level designing one. Goodbye.